auspicious event, the Honorable Minister for Communications and Digitalization, and she has ushered in the Senior Minister and Presidential Advisor, Honorable Yao Osafo-Maafo. Please, a resounding round of applause for our special guests of honor. And now a salute to our special guest of honor. Please be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, to set the tone, a video that establishes why we are here. Please take a look.
The digital world touches every aspect of our lives. It enables us to connect, work, learn and travel, and plays an important role in safeguarding life essentials such as food, water and healthcare. Cyberspace offers huge opportunities, but also comes with digital risks that we all need to be aware of. To ensure a free, open and secure digital world, every country should have the resources, knowledge and skills they need to invest in their digital future. To this end, nations should work together and support each other with these capabilities so that every country can keep up with the digital transformation. After all, a chain is only as strong as the weakest link. Today we have gathered in Accra at the first global conference on cyber capacity building. The conference is co-organized by the Global Forum on Cyber Expertise, the World Bank, the Cyber Peace Institute and the World Economic Forum, and is hosted by the Government of Ghana. Among us are decision makers from all over the world, high-level government leaders and practitioners, the development community, experts on cybersecurity and capacity building, the private sector, international organizations, academia, from all regions and across all sectors. We are here to acknowledge that it is paramount for all nations to have expertise, knowledge and skills to strengthen their cyber resilience. We must all act now and work together on cyber capacity building because it is a key enabler for sustainable development, economic growth and social progress. Welcome to the GC3B 2023.
Ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Accra, Ghana. It will be remiss of me if I allowed us to start this program without paying homage to this ground, Ghana, our motherland. So please allow me to ask you to stand up for the national anthem of the Republic of Ghana. Please be seated. Here duly representing His Excellency the President of the Republic of Ghana, Honorable Senior Minister and Special Advisor to the President, Honorable Yao Osafo-Mafu. We are grateful for having you. A round of applause for the Honorable Senior Minister. Now, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Anita Erskine, and I will host this plenary. I am not jumping. I want to first of all establish the story and then bring it to this very moment where we have warmly welcomed you all from different parts of the world to this wonderful center of the earth, the original black star we call Ghana. I have had the privilege of working with the Honorable Minister of Communications, taking the concept of cybersecurity to the constituents we hardly ever think about, the girls, the women, tomorrow's leaders. So I beg of you to grant me only 3 minutes to say a special thank you to the groups and organizations here in Ghana who are pushing and aiding the Cybersecurity Authority with its mandate. I only need 3 minutes of your time. Ladies and gentlemen, and please, when I mention your name, kindly stand up briefly so we can acknowledge those of you who are doing the work on the ground. Please let's acknowledge the Joint Cybersecurity Committee. Please, members, if you're here, stand up and let us honor you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Please let's also honor the Joint Intelligence Committee. If you're here, please stand up and let us honor you. Thank you. On the ground, we have ministry and agents heads. If you're also here, agency heads, if you're here, please let us acknowledge you. They are out in the field getting the work done. We cannot be here without, of course, the support of the board of the Cybersecurity Authority. Please, board, if you're here, let us see you. Our partners have made it possible. Can I please have the GFCE Foundation? Where are you? Let us clap for you. World Bank Group is here as well. Please let us applaud them, World Bank Group. World Economic Forum is also here. Thank you very much. I have hundreds of names, but throughout the program, I'll be sure to mention the ones we are acknowledging today and the ones we want to say a big thank you to. And now, ladies and gentlemen, I wish I had the power to officially welcome you, but I will stand on the shoulders of the Director General, who together with his team have done an exceptional job of bringing this wonderful program here to Accra. Please allow me to say a big thank you to the Director General of the Cybersecurity Authority, Dr. Inchi Boisiako. Please stand up so we can acknowledge you as well. The CSA team, well done, well done, well done. And now, the leadership can only be the one that allows us to live our dreams and our ambition. Cybersecurity is broad, it's huge, but it only takes one step to ensure that countries, towns, cities, continents are all aligned and in line. And I do have to say, when you talk about that leadership, it comes out of the Ministry of Communications or Ministry for Communications and Digitalization. And so, please allow me with a resounding applause to bring to the stage to officially welcome you to Accra, to officially welcome you to this auspicious event. Please welcome none other than Honorable Ursula Owusu Ekufo.
The representative of the President of the Republic of Ghana, Honorable Yao Osafo-Mafu, Senior Presidential Advisor, President of the GFC Foundation, Mr. Christopher Painter, the GC3B Special Envoy, Mr. Mokhtar Ahmed Yadali, Executive Secretary of the African Capacity Building Foundation, Mr. Mamadou BTA, colleague ministers of ICT, cyber ambassadors, representatives from the World Bank, World Economic Forum, and the Cyber Peace Institute, Director General of the Cybersecurity Authority, Dr. Albert Ntwibwe-Siako, members of the Diplomatic Corps, ministers of state, members of parliament, representatives of agencies within the Ministry of Communications, development agencies, and the private sector, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. I'm delighted to welcome you all to this inaugural global conference on cyber capacity building, co-organized by the Global Forum of Cyber Expertise, the World Bank Group, the Cyber Peace Institute, the World Economic Forum, and Ghana's Cybersecurity Authority under the leadership of the Ministry of Communications and Digitalization. His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Ghana, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, attaches great importance to digitalization and is keenly aware of the need to build our capacity to manage and protect our digital infrastructure. He would have loved to welcome you all personally to Accra for this conference, as he prioritizes cybersecurity as a key component of our development. Unfortunately, he is out of town, attending to long-scheduled engagements, and sends his apologies, and a very able representative, his senior advisor, Honorable Yao Osafo-Maafo, a revered, distinguished, accomplished personality and statesman in his own right. You're very warmly welcome, sir. I also extend a warm welcome to Mr. Christopher Painter, the president of the GFCE Foundation, who's no stranger to Ghana, having been here several times, leading conversations around cybersecurity, cyber diplomacy, and cybercrime since his days at the Department of Justice, the Federal Bureau of Investigation, the National Security Council, and the State Department as the world's top cyber diplomat, and now as president of the GFCE Foundation. Distinguished guests, I also welcome Mr. Mamadou BTA, Executive Secretary of African Capacity Building Foundation, Mr. Mokhtar Ahmed Yadali, the GC3B Special Envoy, Mr. Pierre Laporte, World Bank Country Director, representatives from the World Bank Group, World Economic Forum, Cyber Peace Institute, cyber diplomats present, and all of you, distinguished ladies and gentlemen who've gathered here to participate in this two-day conference. It's a great pleasure to have you here. And to all my colleague ministers from the continent who were able to make it to Accra, I wish you a very warm welcome. Dr. Ntwibwe-Siako, Director General of Ghana Cybersecurity Authority, the Joint Cybersecurity Committee, and all participants to this pivotal conference are welcome. The theme for this conference is cyber resilience for development. And Ghana is proud to be associated with and to host this event, as it illustrates our acknowledgement that cybersecurity, capacity building, and awareness creation are key to the development of our digital infrastructure, which underpins our emerging digital economy. The government has consistently demonstrated strong political commitment to digitization and cybersecurity. Our major goal is to bridge the digital divide, facilitate our digital transformation to energize Ghana's economic growth. This is designed to establish Ghana as the continent's digital gateway, and it is no accident that we host the Africa Continental Free Trade Area and are poised to use digital tools to accelerate the integration of the continent through trade. We've launched strategic interventions to bridge the digital divide and encourage citizens to adopt ICT. We're implementing a rural telephony project that will connect over 4 million unserved and underserved citizens to voice and data services on a shared national platform and network. This government has taken deliberate steps to formalize our economy through digital initiatives such as the mobile money interoperability, which has provided financial inclusion for over 15 million previously unbanked people, the National ID card, which serves as a single-purpose eID for all digital transactions to combat identity theft and crime, fraud, and corruption. A network of digital transformation centers which has benefited over 20,000 women entrepreneurs, master trainers, youth, and children in coding clubs. Targeted interventions to close the gender digital divide and provide possibilities for our youth through the Girls in ICT program and the development of new enterprises at digital incubation centers, among many others, are being pursued. Distinguished guests, the systematic pursuit of these initiatives demonstrates our unflinching commitment to eradicating poverty in all its forms, ending discrimination and exclusion, and reducing the inequalities and vulnerabilities that leave people behind, especially in ICT development, and undermine the potential of individuals in rural and peri-urban areas of our country. Cybersecurity is the other side of the coin of digitalization, and you cannot have one without the other. Ghana is actively pursuing cybersecurity initiatives, not just for our benefit, but also for the benefit of the sub-region, using ITU recommendations and other international best practices to ensure a safe and resilient cyberspace for sustainable digital transformation. I'm happy to report that Ghana raised its score on the 2021 ITU Global Cybersecurity Index to 86.69%, up from 32.6% in 2017. To accomplish even better for our entire sub-region, we seek partnerships and global cooperation. We're faced with clear and present existential threats, ladies and gentlemen. In the first half of 2022 and 2023, Positive Technologies, a cybersecurity research organization, reported that global financial sector was the most hit with cyber attacks, recording 18%, followed by the telecommunications sector with 13%, government agencies with 12%, trade organizations with 12%, and the industrial sector with 10%. The situation on our continent mirrors these global statistics. In the second quarter of this year, the continent experienced the highest average number of weekly cyber attacks per organization, with an average of 2,164 attacks, reflecting a year-on-year increase of 23% compared to the same period last year. It can only get worse if we don't act decisively and collectively to contain this trend. We must prioritize our cybersecurity efforts, both at a national and international level. The government is implementing measures to build a robust and resilient cybersecurity architecture with domestic and international cooperation as a hallmark of our efforts. Our law has established the Joint Cybersecurity Committee to foster cooperation among agencies whose mandate borders on cybersecurity. The Cybersecurity Authority also collaborates with a wide range of institutions such as the World Bank, the World Economic Forum, the African Union, ECOWAS, the ITU, the GFCE, and GIFCT, amongst many others. And our decision to host this event is an example of our prioritization of international cooperation. The borderless nature of cyberspace and the increased interdependence on information communications technologies means there's a need for all of us to prioritize cooperation both among the private and public institutions and between countries. Beyond the call for cooperation is a strong need to build the capacity of national and private stakeholders to improve their collective cyber resilience and develop strong technical and operational capabilities. It is important for governments across the world to develop a vibrant cybersecurity ecosystem and to grow a steady and robust supply of human resources and skilled expertise in cybersecurity. And that is why conferences like these are important and give us an opportunity to network, learn best practices from one another, and develop solutions fit for our diverse national context. I hope this inaugural one will not be the last. Over the next 2 days, we'll engage in insightful discussions, learn from each other, and hold meaningful conversations that will contribute significantly to cyber capacity building efforts across the globe. I hope this will act as a catalyst for global action to make cyber resilience and cyber capacity building a priority in the national and international development agenda. I'm looking forward to a fruitful conference and to the tangible outcome of the Accra Call that will mark a turning point in global cyber capacity building. I wish you all a pleasant and fruitful stay in Ghana. Please make time to get a lovely local outfit. Don't just admire mine, get your own. Try our delicious cuisine and also visit some of our historic sites. Welcome to Accra, our vibrant city, Akwaba.
Mrs. Ursula Owusu-Ekufo was really speaking to me. I'm always asking for her outfits when she's done with them. Well noted, madam. Ladies and gentlemen, also to know that she is our host and program chairperson. I didn't add that. I would also like to use this opportunity to acknowledge another one of our partners, Cyber Peace Institute, CPI. If you're here, please let us acknowledge you. Thank you very much. Allow me to also use this opportunity to establish and acknowledge our online audience around the world. And if you are telling everyone how wonderful Accra is, for those of you who are here, please don't forget to add the hashtag GC3B23, GC3B23, and just tell them how wonderful Accra is at a wink. Ladies and gentlemen, and now we move into the statement by our co-organizers. Without much ado, please allow me to bring to the podium the president of the GFCE Foundation Board, Mr. Chris Painter.
Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the Global Forum on Cyber Expertise, let me welcome you to this global conference on cyber capacity building, the GC3B, a term that should be flowing trippingly off your tongue by the end of these 2 days. And I'm really happy to see you all here. We're delighted to have received such a warm welcome from the government of Ghana, the Ministry of Communications and Digitization, and the Cybersecurity Authority, of course, that have really worked tirelessly to host us in Ghana. So can we have maybe a round of applause for all of them? Their dedicated efforts have brought us together in this beautiful city, reflecting their commitment to advancing global cybersecurity. And as was mentioned by the minister, this is not my first time here, and it's really great to be back. Great to see such a great crowd here, but this has been a priority in Ghana for some time, and that's really good to see that it's continued to grow. Over the next few days, we look forward to fruitful discussions and collaborations that will contribute to building a more secure digital future. When we commenced our consultations and preparation for this back in 2021, it's just amazing we are now here. It's just great to be here now. We could not really have imagined how rapid the technological developments would have been within this short period. I've been doing cyber now for about over 30 years, and it's been amazing to me how that's changed over this time. But even in this very short period of a couple of years, it's really accelerated amazingly. In the past year alone, we've witnessed the exponential progress in the field of artificial intelligence, which has now fully entered the public discourse with applications many of us use. The development further underlines the fundamental role digital technologies will continue to have in shaping the ways we learn, work, and live across the world. The rollout of digitization has concretely demonstrated how technology can help us achieve a better future. The use of digital technologies has been instrumental in growing the economy, increasing productivity, and advancing human and social development. As such, it also has been recognized as a key driver in the attainment of the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. But at the same time, digitization has also brought about new demands in developing the necessary expertise and skills to address the strategic, institutional, regulatory, and security requirements for an effective and sustainable digital future. This is challenging for every nation and organization, but it does place disproportionate burden on low and middle income countries. It's a challenge even where I live in the US, but it's a challenge for everyone around the world. On the one hand, we see that persisting digital inequities create barriers to developing countries in reaping the digital dividends we're trying to all achieve. On the other hand, the unprecedented increase in connectivity has also given ground to the emergence of new digital risks and vulnerabilities with fundamental impact beyond the online world. Cybersecurity vulnerabilities and risks have been fast evolving, with the potential to impede economic growth, undermine societal trust in the digital environment, weaken the resilience of critical infrastructure, and ultimately put in danger the lives and the well-being of our people. As we are immersed in this digital everything, as we call it, the quote, digital of everything era, the capacity to anticipate, manage, and respond to digital risks must be cyber resilient. It's a key term, and it's a key term for the theme of this conference. Is central for the delivery of key development outcomes and supporting the Sustainable Development Goals. The stakes are very high to ensure that no country or individual is left behind or below the, quote, cyber poverty line. It is important to remember, and really a moment to consider, I think, at this conference, the words of Kofi Annan from almost 20 years ago, and what they mean today against this backdrop of our digital interdependence. And his words were, "There is no development without security, and no security without development." And that's certainly true in the digital world as well. Digital development requires a human-centric, sustainable, inclusive, and resilient approach where cyber resilience is understood as the silver thread for our connectivity that supports the attainment of relevant digital and development objectives. The examples are numerous and touch upon every one of the SDGs. For instance, digital technologies play a key role in modern economic development and therefore poverty eradication. Cybersecurity vulnerabilities in technological products provide an opportunity for cyber criminals to exploit the digitization of the market and undermine its economic benefits. Therefore, cyber resilience is necessary for sustaining growth and the economic growth and social growth and maintaining the digital economy behind it. Digital technologies increase efficiencies in public service delivery, from water management, electricity distribution, and climate change early warning systems to public education and health services, just to name a few. They also play a significant role in upgrading the scope, access, and quality of infrastructure networks. These technology-enabled services and infrastructures are inherently threatened without measures to ensure their cyber resilience. Now, we have not been blind to these issues. Indeed, the international community has long recognized the need to build trust and security in the use of digital technologies and to harness them for supporting sustainable development, inclusive economic growth, international security, and promoting the rule of law and human rights. Certain efforts have been underway more steadily in the past decade, with cyber capacity building having emerged as the main cooperation modality among governments, international and regional organizations in the private sector, the technical community, civil society, and academia, in fostering the development of cyber resilience capacities and promoting partnerships in cyber-related issues. In fact, the Global Forum on Cyber Expertise was created back in 2015 as a true multi-stakeholder platform encompassing all of those groups, motivated by the global need for more cooperation and coordination for cyber capacity building. Since then, the GFC has built a robust network and has advanced the efforts to coordinate globally and regionally. Nevertheless, in a global environment of multiple cascading crises and heightened economic challenges affecting particularly developing countries, cyber capacity building has suffered from insufficient awareness among decision makers, particularly senior decision makers. In turn, this has resulted in limited available financing, along with inconsistent commitment to coordination that has hampered the effectiveness and sustainability of relevant initiatives. It's not that we haven't done a lot, but we haven't done it in the way we need to do it in a very concerted fashion and prioritizing it. At the same time, we've seen cyber capacity building communities developed organically within the confines of specific thematic and policy perspectives, its own silo, if you will. For example, on cybercrime, cybersecurity, cyber diplomacy. And admittedly, parts of this community have been slow to embrace the lessons of the traditional development community, the international development community, and vice versa, and articulate its value add to the development objectives. I think these have been two different communities so often we see in all these areas who haven't really talked enough together. We have not been as effective in creating opportunities for strategic dialogue between these different communities and for systematically combining our respective know-how and resources. Many critical factors converge at this moment in time to give us a real opportunity that we cannot afford to think of cybersecurity as just a niche or technical issue and just continue business as usual. First, we see investments in digital infrastructure, systems, and services are accelerating across the world. Second, development cooperation approaches are also increasingly relying on digital tools and solutions for service delivery. And third, with cybercrime and cybersecurity challenges becoming more complex and global, the demands and need for cyber capacity building will only continue to grow. In fact, I often see the demand well outstripping the supply, and the calls for help from really all over the world are huge in this area. So this really calls for a paradigm shift. We need to ensure the full incorporation of cyber resilience into the development cooperation and better integration of development objectives in cyber capacity building efforts. It's a two-way street. We need to make sure the development community embraces this, but at the same time, the cyber community embraces the development objectives. Especially among ongoing calls for reform of the international development financing ecosystem and for an urgent financing boost needed to meet the Sustainable Development Goals, I think this gives us a real opportunity and a responsibility to ensure that digital development leverages cybersecurity to safeguard the relevant financial investments and the viability of those developmental results. Without good cybersecurity as a platform, as the foundation, a lot of those development agendas are endangered, and we need to recognize that. Moved by this reinforced urgency, the GFC has been a driving force along with its partners, the World Bank, the World Economic Forum, the Cyber Peace Institute. Thank you all in the front row for all of your help and assistance in this long journey that we've been on, long but very fruitful journey we've been on. We are all gathered here with an overarching goal to catalyze global action to elevate cyber resilience across international and national development agendas as key enablers of sustainable development, inclusive economic growth, and social prosperity for all. So it's not just a cyber issue, a much broader societal issue, which is just why, as important as this conference is, it is a launch more than just a conference in itself. And we have the unique opportunity to build upon this momentum and advance this conversation with concrete follow-up actions beyond Accra. A key contribution of the GC3B is the multi-stakeholder Accra Call for cyber resilient development. So this will be known in the future as tied here to Ghana, the Accra Call, which is a really important document. It's an action framework. It's not just another document. It's not just another declaration. It is an action framework drawing from existing shared commitments and ongoing relevant efforts in international foreign processes. The Accra Call is meant to be both a blueprint and a motivation for voluntary action by a whole host of stakeholders. And it's specifically to strengthen the role of cyber resilience as an enabler for sustainable development, to advance demand-driven, effective, and sustainable cyber capacity building, actually listening to what's needed rather than just thinking you know what's needed and layering it on, foster stronger partnerships and better coordination, and finally, to unlock financial resources and implementation modalities for cyber resilience, get that resource imbalance addressed. We invite all stakeholders to identify how they can contribute to the Accra Call's action framework and pursue the actions within their mandates and processes. This is an inclusive process. A key dimension of the Accra Call community will be learning from each other and using the next GC3B iterations to create positive feedback loops on our collective progress and maturity trajectory. The GFC will help shepherd this process based on the consolidated role as a trusted, neutral convener for the global cybersecurity capacity building community, which brings me to the role of the GFC and the lessons we have learned over the last few years. A lot has happened since, and we've really come a long way since we were established in 2015 at another important juncture, the Global Conference on Cyberspace that was hosted in The Hague, and actually a process that was begun by the UK Foreign Minister Hague, so it was a Hague process. And so our organization was launched at that point. And the idea was to create a truly global and diverse network, which now has over 200 members and partners, that helps set the agenda that was unanimously endorsed in the Delhi communique on the global agenda for cyber capacity building in 2017. So 2015, 2017, the global agenda. And we've now created a meaningful platform for cooperation and coordination along with the key themes of cybersecurity capacity building. As we kept maturing, we strengthened the GFC ecosystem to support our capacity building efforts. Most notably, we established the GFC's working groups to foster collaboration, support, thought leadership, and peer-to-peer learning in a number of core areas. We set up a clearinghouse function to support the matching of cyber capacity building demand with supply and enable meaningful cooperation at the national level. We also created something we call the CIBIL portal, CIBIL Knowledge Portal, which includes not only existing global mapping of cybersecurity priorities, but over 800 products, best practices that is available to everyone, and that's cibilportal.org, and any of you can go and take a look at that. We launched this global cyber capacity building research agenda to build evidence base for cyber capacity building, and most notably, and most importantly, we help connect national cyber capacity building ecosystems with their regions, and the regions with the international level, through our network of regional teams and hubs in Africa, the Americas, the Pacific, and Southeast Asia. And that's important because although this is a global issue, it's also a local and regional issue. I'm therefore very confident that our experience in improving the global cyber capacity building ecosystem will allow the GFC to continue playing a critical role to ensure consistent follow-up to the outcomes of this GC3B. Our commitment to being a neutral convener and serving the public good will ensure that collective progress achieved here in Accra is sustained, and this is not just a one-off conference, but a process and a road forward. So over this road in the years to come, the Accra Call for Cyber Resilient Development shall serve as our lighthouse as we redouble our efforts to mainstream cyber resilience across national and international development agendas, promote cyber capacity building that supports broader development goals, and strengthen our partnerships. So finally, in closing, I would like to express once more my gratitude to the government of Ghana for helping us put this together, the inaugural GC3B, and for hosting us here in Accra. It's a clear demonstration of Ghana's leadership and commitment to advancing cyber capacity building. And once more, I want to thank all of you for being here. And before I leave the stage, I want you to all give a big hand to yourselves for being here, being part of this process, and good luck over the next 2 days.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chris Painter, President of GFCE Foundation Board. And ladies and gentlemen, as you're giving a round of applause, please also welcome Mr. Pierre Laporte, World Bank Country Director for Ghana, Liberia, and Sierra Leone.
Honorable Senior Minister and Presidential Advisor, Honorable Minister for Communication and Digitalization, fellow representatives of international organizations, I will go by the protocols already observed by the Minister and others, and I welcome you to the conference today. And good morning to you. I'm very pleased to represent the World Bank here as one of the key supporters and co-organizers of this global conference for cybersecurity building, alongside other partners such as the Global Forum on Cyber Expertise, World Economic Forum, and the Cyber Peace Institute. As you may know, since June this year, the World Bank has a new president, Ajay Banga. Ajay often points out that development delayed is development denied. And this is very much applies to cybersecurity capacity building. From Albania and Costa Rica to Kenya and Bangladesh, we have seen in the past year or two the kind of impact that cyber incidents can have in developing countries. They can shut down entire governments for weeks or cut access to electricity for the most vulnerable groups. Globally, their costs to society amount to about 6% of GDP. So there is a sense of urgency here, and business as usual is not an option anymore. We, the development community, must find innovative ways to reach the speed and scale needed to deliver better results. For the World Bank, it has become clear that we cannot achieve our goals and realize our vision, a world free of poverty on a livable planet, without cyber resilience. That's why at the World Bank, we have significantly increased our commitment to cybersecurity. Our multi-donor trust fund now manages about $20 million of grants, which provide expert technical assistance to developing countries, for instance, to assess cybersecurity maturity at the national level. We are also increasing the part of our lending dedicated to cybersecurity. Currently, we have around $250 million in active or pipeline lending earmarked for cybersecurity across 60 countries. Overall, our investments and partnerships with developing countries aim to build capacity to effectively manage cybersecurity risks. At this point, please allow me a few minutes to acknowledge Ghana's achievements in this area. As you can see, we are gathered here in Accra today to discuss how the development community can best enhance cyber resilience. We are often asked if there are cybersecurity good practices or success stories that could be replicated and scaled up. Ghana is probably one of the most striking cases. Just a week ago, the World Bank published a result story on how Ghana managed to become a regional leader for cybersecurity. According to data from the International Telecommunications Union, Ghana ranks first in West and Central Africa and third on the African continent. This year, the Cybersecurity Authority in Ghana reached a staff level of 100 and has managed to support the emergence of a vibrant cybersecurity ecosystem throughout the country. Since the very beginning of Ghana's journey towards cyber resilience, the World Bank has been working closely with the government to support these efforts. We have been supporting digital transformation in Ghana for more than 15 years now, starting in 2006 when we launched the e-Ghana project, which was followed by the e-Transform Ghana project in 2014, and in June this year, the Ghana Digital Acceleration Project became effective. And we aim to replicate and upscale this model across other countries. So in closing, the example of Ghana shows that with forward-looking policies and investments, developing countries can make impressive strides towards becoming more cyber resilient. I hope their success story can inspire other countries as well. And on this note, let me thank you and wish all of us a very fruitful conference. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, as we express our gratitude to Mr. Pierre Laporte, let us also welcome from the World Economic Forum, the head of industry and partnerships, Mr. Akshay Joshi.
Thank you very much. First of all, I would like to thank our host country, Ghana, the Cybersecurity Authority, our partners from the Global Forum on Cyber Expertise, the Cyber Peace Institute, and the World Bank Group Together with the efforts of various steering group members for the Global Conference on Cyber Capacity Building, without whom we wouldn't be here today. We're in an age of multiple crises: geopolitical, economic, climate, energy, food, etc. The World Economic Forum every year publishes a report at Davos called the Global Risks Report. Against these multifaceted challenges, widespread cybercrime and cyber insecurity continue to feature among the top 10 risks. If we go further, within the top 5 risks identified by respondents of our survey, attacks on critical infrastructure, cyber attacks, continue to feature as well. If we look differently, cyber is also a massive threat multiplier. Take the example of an energy crisis. We all saw what happened when the Colonial Pipeline incident took place and disrupted the supply across the east coast of the United States. If we think about the food crisis, the attack on JBS demonstrated a similar story. Data from the FBI also reveals that whenever there is an economic crisis, it is accompanied by an uptick in cybercrime as a whole, if we go back to the crisis from 2008. The Honorable Minister highlighted a number of challenges that are being witnessed in Ghana and the broader continent. These are challenges we continue to see in different parts of the world, and cyber is truly interconnected with pretty much everything we do as of today. The Center for Cybersecurity at the Forum also publishes each year a Global Cybersecurity Outlook report. This year's edition was particularly interesting because 93% of cyber leaders and 86% of business leaders believe that geopolitical instability is likely to result in a catastrophic cyber attack over the next 2 years. As Chris pointed out, rapid advances in transformational technologies are making this landscape even more complex. Generative AI is widely believed to have shifted the balance in favor of attackers as opposed to defenders. Despite the growing complexity, there is a global shortage of roughly around 4 million cybersecurity professionals. In the Global Cybersecurity Outlook report that we publish, nearly 60% of leaders rank talent recruitment and retention as the key challenge for managing cyber resilience. No entity working alone can solve these multifaceted challenges, and the need for public-private cooperation has never been more pronounced. This was the reason the World Economic Forum set up the Center for Cybersecurity in 2018 to provide an independent and impartial platform to reinforce the importance of cybersecurity as a strategic imperative and to foster global public-private collaboration at scale to address some of these systemic cybersecurity challenges. With over 150 partners, we work on a number of initiatives that spread across building cyber resilience, strengthening global cooperation, and navigating digital frontiers. In this pursuit, the Global Conference on Cyber Capacity Building, under the theme of Cyber Resilience for Development, presents a unique opportunity to unlock global public-private cooperation and ensure the benefits of digitalization can be translated equitably to nations, industries, and individuals alike. We are delighted to support the Global Conference on Cyber Capacity Building, which is much more than just a conference, and are confident that the deliberations over the next couple of days will result in concrete action and impact. Thank you very much for your support.
Ladies and gentlemen, allow me now to bring to the stage Madam Francesca Bosco, Cyber Peace Institute Chief Strategy and Partnerships.
Excellencies, distinguished guests, on behalf of the Cyber Peace Institute, I would like to thank you all for being with us today for actually what Chris was mentioning. It's a milestone. It's a milestone in our forward-looking journey towards building cyber resilience for development. I'm proud today, and for all the journey that brought us here, that we have partnered with esteemed organizations such as the Global Forum on Cyber Expertise, the World Bank, the World Economic Forum, and the government of Ghana to realize a first-of-its-kind flagship gathering underscoring the crucial role that cyber resilience and capacity building play in advancing the UN 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development and emphasizing effective, sustainable, and inclusive stewardship of international cooperation for cyber resilience development. Countries and organizations are implementing digital solutions at a rapid pace. We heard Akshay, we heard Chris specifically mentioning the potential of economic and societal growth is enormous, but at the same time, we're living in an age of polycrisis, as the World Economic Forum has defined it, and also we are seeing how emerging technologies like AI are fostering enormous growth, but they are also opening new vulnerabilities and risk that needs to be addressed. While the development community continues to invest to achieve the SDGs by digitizing societies and building smart infrastructures, there is often an underestimation of the cyber risk and threats that come with increased use of ICTs and digitalization, or these risks and threats are not fully understood and addressed as a systemic challenge. Cyber insecurity can challenge and even unwind the progress that we are making. This growth is often cut short by limited understanding of the real impact and harm that cyber attacks are causing on one hand, and on the other hand, the problem is that resources are often inadequate, infrastructures are inadequate, and also the cyber-related skills that are necessary for a collaborative approach for long-lasting cyber resilience are not there yet. And civil society organizations that I'm representing here today play a fundamental role in contributing to ensure safe and secure sustainable development. They're often the one closest to people. They're often the one closest to us all, both, I would say, in peace and, as we are also seeing, in wartime. Civil society organizations are key because they can also define cyber capacity building needs and enable impactful solutions from awareness raising, training and education activities, closing the cybersecurity warfare gap, and also operationalizing principles for capacity building in a diverse and inclusive manner. It's time, really, for co-designing together an international multi-stakeholder cyber capacity building agenda to create the cyber resilient societies, starting from the backbone. And we at the Cyber Peace Institute, we are an NGO that works with vulnerable communities to safeguard and strengthen the resilience both of critical infrastructure and civilian infrastructure and of critical actors like other civil society organizations providing populations with vital services. We firmly believe that this conference is a unique opportunity to create a long-term action plan between cybersecurity and development communities, international and national levels, with a truly diverse and inclusive multi-stakeholder approach. Directly, as Cyber Peace Institute, we are contributing in closing the gaps by raising awareness on the societal impact of cyber attacks, thanks to our platform, on advocating for responsible cyberspace behavior, and IDing victims with innovative solutions that are built on collaboration and skills development together with the public and the private sector, like the Cyber Peace Builders program. As a proud member of the civil society organization community, we firmly believe in the importance of joint initiatives, and the Institute is committed co-organizer of this conference, but also a supporter of the Accra Call, and you will learn more about it in the next 2 days. Today's gathering is a unique opportunity to raise awareness of how cybersecurity and cyber capacity building support digital, social, and economic development in line with the Sustainable Development Goals, to call for donors' commitment. We need commitment, and we need let's say, a truly multi-stakeholder and impactful approach. And we also need to share knowledge, to share practices. And this is why we are all here today. It's a stepping stone towards a new agenda, a new also, let's say, operational plan, I would say, even more than an agenda, on cyber capacity building, diverse, inclusive, where digital transformation, sustainable development, cybersecurity, and human rights are fully integrated, and there is a serious commitment to support this agenda. Again, thanks to the government of Ghana, my fellow co-organizers, and you all, the made to the beautiful Accra, and also that all the people that are following us online. We can make a real change in achieving cyber resilient development only by acting together. Thank you.
Another round of applause for our first set of statements, finishing off with Madam Francesca Bosco, Cyber Peace Institute of Chief Strategy and Partnerships. Ladies and gentlemen, as is custom in Ghana, we'd like to extend our gratitude to the people who take time off their busy schedules to come not only in support of us, but also their presence to us means that they are placing this conversation at the forefront of their work or their business or their communities. Please allow me to acknowledge the presence of the Osumanche in the person of His Royal Majesty Noche Professor Ninote Owo the Fourth, who's joining us. Also here present is the Deputy Minister of Communications and Digitalization, Honorable Amapoma Boateng. In our presence is the Director General Kofi Annan ICT Center of Excellence, Dr. Collins Yeboah Afari. Also here in our presence is Madam Patricia Edusei Poku, who's the Data Protection Commission Executive Director, which is a member of the Joint Cybersecurity Committee, otherwise known as JCC. Madam, you're very welcome. Her Excellency, the Ambassador of South Africa, Madam Grace Jeanette Mason, is also here joining us. Thank you very much, Madam. The German Ambassador, His Excellency Regine Greenberger, is also here. Where is our Regine? Yes, you're very welcome, Madam. Last, definitely not the least on my current list, I want to acknowledge the presence of Member of Parliament, Honorable Sam George, also joining us here today. He's just about to take his seat. Ladies and gentlemen, this brings me to our second part of our statements, and these statements will be by our international partners and collaborators. Please allow me to bring to the stadium Miss Alison Treppel, who is part of the Organization of American States and the Executive Secretary at Inter-American Committee Against Terrorism. Madam.
Thank you so much, and good morning to all protocols being observed. My sincere thanks to all of the organizers of this event, the World Bank, the World Economic Forum, the Cyber Peace Institute, and of course the Global Forum on Cyber Expertise, as well as the Government of Ghana for welcoming us all to this event. For me personally, it is my first time stepping foot on the African continent, and I have been truly impressed by the beauty, the warmth, and now the fashion prowess of the Ghanaian people. In 2015, the Organization of American States became a founding member of the Global Forum on Cyber Expertise, the GFCE. Because we recognized then the value in and the need for greater coordination of cybersecurity capacity building, both regionally and internationally. I personally have been participating in GFCE-sponsored events since the 2017 meeting that took place in Brussels. And I am thrilled to see how this forum, how this community of cyber experts has grown since then. Today, the GFCE has not just a fully functioning and operational secretariat, but as Chris mentioned earlier, there are today 4 regional hubs, 4 technical working groups, a foundation, and numerous services such as the clearinghouse mechanism and the civil platform that are at the disposal of all. This growth of the forum and this conference This conference and the forum is the result of global collective will and commitment to strengthening cybersecurity capacity building. Our region of the Americas is certainly committed to this goal, and I am so pleased that at least through our region, 12 countries are actively participating in the work of this network and this conference, many of whom have been able to travel and join us here in Ghana. As the GFCE regional hub for the Americas, the Organization of American States continues to encourage other countries and organizations from throughout the Western Hemisphere to join this forum so that they too can benefit from the tools and opportunities that this community of public and private sector stakeholders, civil society, and academia offers. Because in a time, as we've heard from the distinguished speakers before me, in a time of geopolitical shifts, evolving technology, and complex cyber operations, cyber resiliency is absolutely critical for our collective security and development. And as we will hear over the next 2 days, one of the most impactful ways we can create increased cyber resiliency is through greater and more coordinated capacity building among the donor community, among the implementers, and among the beneficiary countries. And I think that is why we are all here today. Because everyone in this room, I hope, is committed to investing in the security of our digital economy, to together achieving our sustainable development goals, and to working together with diverse stakeholders across borders to meet these objectives. And I think that is the spirit of the Accra Call that is on the table for consideration as the outcome document of this process. And this document, just like the conference itself, again, reflects our collective commitment as public and private sector institutions, as international organizations, academia, and civil society to a single common goal: to strengthen cybersecurity capacity and resiliency across the globe. The OAS certainly remains committed to supporting these objectives and to coordinating with all of you, both within and outside of the Americas region, to create a more resilient and therefore a safer and more secure cyberspace for all. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Madam Alison Tropel. And now please welcome from UNOEWG First Secretary, OEWG Digital Corporation and Cybersecurity, Mr. Matthew Wong.
Excellencies, distinguished delegates, good morning. I'm honored to deliver opening remarks to you today on behalf of Ambassador Burhan Gafu in his capacity as Chair of the United Nations Open-Ended Working Group on Security of and in the Use of ICTs 2021 to 2025 and Ambassador of Singapore to the United Nations in New York. Ambassador Gafu extends his apologies that he is unable to join us in person today due to commitments that require him to remain in New York at this time. Ambassador Gafu's remarks are as follows. I want to begin by thanking the GC3B organizers for inviting me to deliver these remarks. I would also like to recognize the initiative of all the organizers in bringing the cyber capacity building community together today to have this crucial and timely conversation, and to extend my thanks to the government of Ghana for warmly welcoming us here in Accra. This year marks 25 years since states began deliberations on the issue of cybersecurity in the context of international security at the United Nations. Since the beginning of these discussions, capacity building has been a pivotal part of our work at the UN. In the words of the most recent annual progress report of the Open-Ended Working Group, the international community recognized that capacity building is an important confidence-building measure. It's a topic that cuts across all the pillars of the OEWG's work, and that a holistic approach to capacity building is essential. Simply put, without sustainable, effective, and affordable capacity building solutions, we will not be able to achieve our collective goals for international security in this domain that is so critical to our modern economies and societies. Against this backdrop, I would like to offer some reflections from my perspective at the center of discussions at the United Nations for you to consider as you engage with the various panels and discussions over the next 2 days. First, as you engage in your discussions, I encourage you to consider how all members of the cyber capacity building community can build upon the work done at the UN on cyber capacity building in recent years. The consensus recommendations and conclusions agreed at the UN represent the unified collective voice of the international community, and in this regard can serve as useful guidance supporting your efforts to implement capacity building on the ground. For example, the consensus final report of the 2019 to 2021 OEWG contained a set of agreed principles of capacity building, which states concluded should guide capacity building efforts. Earlier this year, states again reaffirmed these agreed principles and encouraged further efforts to mainstream these principles within capacity building initiatives around the world. One productive step forward that the capacity building community could take at today's conference would be to consider how best to apply these agreed principles to your organization's capacity building programs and initiatives, and consider how these agreed principles would translate into specific action on the ground. Second, I invite you to consider how the capacity building community can work more closely together with the UN as a platform to amplify the reach and impact of your capacity building work, given the uniquely universal status of the UN. One way this could be done is by tailoring or aligning initiatives in response to specific needs collectively articulated by UN member states in the UN Open-Ended Working Group's conclusions and recommendations. For example, many of you might be aware that UN member states have agreed to set up a global cyber points of contact directory, which all states will be able to use to communicate with each other in the event of a cyber incident. The Points of Contact Directory is expected to be fully functional in 2024, and in the lead-up to its operationalization, the Open-Ended Working Group's second annual progress report recommended that states and/or groups of states in a position to do so could support capacity building with regard to the Points of Contact Directory, including in collaboration with interested stakeholders. In this regard, the conversations you will be having today and tomorrow could be a good opportunity to consider how your organization could specifically support states' needs relating to the Global POC Directory, as well as other specific needs articulated in the OEWG's various consensus reports. Third, I hope that after the GC3B concludes, you will bring the conclusions of your conversations at this conference to the United Nations, where they can be taken up by all UN member states. On 10th of May 2024, Ambassador Gaffo will convene a global roundtable on ICT security capacity building at the UN, as directed by UN member states in the OEWG's second annual progress report. The aim of the global roundtable is to bring together capacity building practitioners, interested stakeholders, and state representatives to have a dedicated discussion on cyber capacity building at the UN for the first time. The sharing of insights drawn from your discussions at GC3B would undoubtedly enrich our conversation at the UN and would be a way to spread the reach of today's discussions beyond this room to the wider international community, including those states that are not represented here today. I also invite you to consider how the ideas that are sparked at today's conference could be formulated as specific proposals and recommendations that could possibly garner consensus at the UN. This would ensure that today's conversations result in lasting impact and would be an important contribution to our collective efforts to enhance capacity building at the global level. With these reflections, I wish all of you many fruitful and productive conversations today and tomorrow. I also hope to see some of you at our upcoming United Nations Open-Ended Working Group meetings in New York, as well as at the Global Roundtable in May next year. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Matthew Wong. And now, ladies and gentlemen, may I present the coordinator for cyber issues at the European External Action Service, European Union, Ms. Manon Leblanc.
Dear Excellencies, dear distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, let me start with thanking the government of Ghana, the co-organizers, and in particular the Global Forum for Cyber Expertise, for hosting us to the Global Conference on Cyber Capacity Building here in Accra. The development and use of technologies has increased globally and is supporting our economies and connecting our societies. But at the same time, the new reality is also an ever-evolving cyber threat landscape. Our critical infrastructure, our supply chains, our businesses and citizens are targeted every day. We see a rise in cyber crime, including ransomware attacks, as well as technologies being misused for adverse objectives, affecting the foundation of our societies. This landscape, however, should not prevent us from continuing to explore the opportunities that the new digital era brings. And we need to make sure that we can all reap the benefits of these technologies, being the current or the future ones. Against this background, we are meeting here today and tomorrow in Accra, bringing together thought leaders across communities and sectors to debate, to innovate, and to pioneer with new approaches aiming to uplift cyber capacity building in our policies, investments, and development plans. And by doing so, we strengthen our partnerships to increase global cyber resilience. We encourage to invest in people, processes, and technologies that are vital to harness the benefits of this new digital reality. The EU has a long track record in cyber capacity building, and the 2020 EU cybersecurity strategy put an emphasis on it. We have significantly stepped up our investments to this end, partnering with countries around the globe. And we have put a need to cooperate to advance a global, open, stable, and secure cyberspace in every regional strategy of the European Union. Today, we invest an estimate volume at 150 million euros, including working with Ghana, and we are committed to continue to invest through specific regional and bilateral initiatives to enhance cyber resilience, cyber diplomacy, and to tackle cyber crime. As part of a Team Europe approach, we are currently preparing a regional initiative for cybersecurity in sub-Saharan Africa. The objectives of this action is enhancing cyber resilience and promoting a free, open, safe, and secure cyberspace in Africa. We are as well designing a program to step up our support in the Indo-Pacific region and continue to invest in Latin America and the Caribbean through our LAC4 Center, our regional hub for cybersecurity training and education, run by EU CyberNet, which is also here today. In our immediate neighborhood, we continue to cooperate to build capacities to address imminent cyber threats, sharing our good practices and aligning cybersecurity legislation. Furthermore, taking into account the rapid digital development, the EU is supporting partners through the Global Gateway in their digital transition, and in this, promoting cybersecurity by mainstreaming these efforts from the start. In light of the rapid digital development, the demand for capacity building is strong and increasing, and rightfully so. And that makes our discussions here today even more important, ensuring that we cooperate and coordinate with many partners, including industry, civil society, and academia. Such cooperation and coordination is not only key to meaningful allocations of scarce resources, but also essential to delivering effective and sustainable capacity building activities. The coming days will enable us to listen to each other and to learn from each other, to create a solid basis to work together to implement our ambition and take forward the Accra Call, which the EU is endorsing. It will allow us to not only improve our cooperation, but also to further mainstream cyber into development programming and contribute to the achievement of the Sustainable Development Goals. In addition, I look forward to see and understand how the work of our community will strengthen the multilateral discussions and cooperation on cyber capacity building, with cyber capacity building also being one of the main pillars of the UN Programme of Action as proposed. All in all, we have our work cut out for us. So, without further ado, I wish you all a most successful and impactful conference that will help increase global cyber resilience and us all to reap the benefits and the beauty of technologies. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, Ms. Manon Leblanc. And now, please welcome the head of Cybersecurity Division from ITU, Mr. Osmani.
Good morning, Your Excellencies, guests and delegates and partners. On behalf of the International Telecommunication Union, I would like to address to you, and after hearing some of the speakers before me, I think I have to get off the script because Chris painted very well the challenges we face as a community. So I think I'll go off the script. I just would like to mention that ITU is not a stranger to you, so we have been in the forefront of driving digital development since 1988 in terms of cybersecurity. The X509 has been established, so your all communication via emails and so on has been based on that standard. So I think we have long-term involvement in capacity building and strengthening the digital development. And I'm thankful to hear some of the delegates mentioning the Global Cybersecurity Index, which has been a driver for many nations to move forward on digital development in terms of cybersecurity. And then ITU is basically remaining a key partner in supporting countries in 4 different areas, which is incident response capabilities. I think our journey with Ghana started in 2013 and 2014 when we implemented the national CERT. And I think that collaboration goes on, and we work together with the minister and other entities in the country. Of course, besides working on the incident response capabilities, we help to build countries to help their cyber policy and cybersecurity strategies. We work also closely on cybersecurity inclusion, where we work on women issues, gender, closing the gap in cybersecurity, but also we work on child online protection. I think, many of the speakers mentioned that, so I would like to say, we forgot to mention the younger generations we are trying to address with this conference. So basic capacity building needs to start at early age, where ITU is being very much involved in that. We've been very active since 2007. So the child online protection guidelines have been there. In 2020, those guidelines have been updated with more than 100 partners supporting and contributing to that work. Also, what is important to mention, in 2021, we started to work on Women in Cyber mentorship program. I think many delegates I've seen here have been part of that program, and also recently we worked with Germany on her cyber tracks, basically trying to build, to bridge the gap between the diplomats and the technical community in terms of understanding what's going on in terms of cybersecurity and UN norms and commitments. So I think the gaps are there, so we need to work as a community together. Yes, our involvement in the GFC since its inception has been there, and that one shows our strong commitment into international collaboration. The GFC community has been a good place where we share the resources, share information, we work together, and we address sometimes issues together. Of course, ITU is going to be continuing to work with partners. We would like to thank some of the countries who have been supporting our work, the UK government, the German, UAE, I think, the list is long, but, I would like to recognize that many countries have been supporting our work. And also, I would like to also mention our private sector members, because as you know, ITU is the only UN organization which has sector members from a private. So I would like to thank also the NRD, which I see them in the room, Microsoft, and other partners who have been really instrumental in supporting our work to deliver for the membership in collaboration and information sharing. Of course, I would like also to thank Singapore for driving the open-ended working group, and collaboration with the CSA has been very great in terms of working together. So I think we would like to continue the collaboration. But in principle, also we would like to thank UN organizations. We work very closely with UNIDIR, with ODA and others. So our collaboration is based on sharing of information and avoiding any duplication of efforts, because I think as a community we have been sometimes duplicating the efforts. I think we need to. I hope this conference, because Call of Accra, it's trying to tell us that we need to kind of move from words into action. I think we've been talking a lot about the capacity building, but I think we need to move into action. I hope this Call of Accra is going to be something which is going to create the roadmap for us to work together as a community. And I would like to thank you for listening to me. I wanted to keep it short. I went off the script because I think it was not important to mention what was repeated earlier. So I think thank you very much for being here, and we look forward to engaging with you and trying to see how we can work. You always have access to us on the Global Cybersecurity Index. If you need to do interventions in the countries and understand what needs to be done, where the commitments are, please reach out to us. And we work very closely with the Oxford on the CMM assessment. So I think please, we are here to support you, and we look forward to collaborate with all of you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Orhan Osmani. And now, ladies and gentlemen, the Deputy Chairperson of the African Union Commission. Ladies and gentlemen, Her Excellency Dr. Monique Nzanza Baganwa, who is joining us via video.
Greetings from the African Union Commission. I wish to take this opportunity to thank and congratulate His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, President of the Republic of Ghana, for his tireless efforts towards building a strong and resilient Africa. I would also wish to thank the people and government of the Republic of Ghana for the invitation extended to me to participate in this global gathering. It's a great honor for me to participate in this important conference, which deals with a current topic and which increasingly attracts our attention as actors and consumers of products and services in the cyberspace. I wish to extend my apologies to you for not being able to participate in person. Cybersecurity and cyberspace is that space of information generated by the global interconnection of information and communication systems, in which data is created, stored, and shared. It is the set of physical infrastructures installed in different countries and the intangible space in which this data, information, and ideas circulate, the space where interactions occur between individuals who are behind their screen everywhere in their world. This space presents opportunities and threats, including cyber threats, cyber sabotage, cyber espionage, cyber wars, and so on. The human, economic, political, and strategic consequences of these threats are
So please, an extra round of applause for him. Ladies and gentlemen, they say when life throws you lemons, you do what? Absolutely, this is life, things happen, but we keep moving on and right on time. Assuming we're able to listen to the rest of the speech by Her Excellency, the Deputy Chairman of the African Union, can we do that? Yes, kindly roll that video, thank you.
Opportunities and threats, including cyber threats, cyber sabotage, cyber espionage, cyber wars, and so on. The human, economic, political, and strategic consequences of these threats are potentially very destabilizing for individuals, economies, and for states. The generalization of teleworking, the digitalization of our society, the time spent online, and the Internet of Things represent real opportunities for hackers, scammers, and online criminals. Unfortunately, there are no signs of improvement, and no one or no institution is safe. Your Excellencies, danger is everywhere and threatens individuals, businesses, international organizations, and governments. Some attacks even target social structures, such as hospitals and schools. This is why it is essential to collectively become aware of the multiplication of avenues of attacks and put in place common measures to limit the risks. The challenges of cybersecurity are numerous, with the human, technical, conceptual, and legislative dimensions. In addition to the legal arsenal and defense equipment, education and awareness are very effective methods to combat threats. The extraterritorial nature of most attacks calls on countries to greater cooperation in the prevention, tracking, identification, and incapacitation of cyber criminals. The first global conference on cyber security capacity building comes right on time. It is vital for all of us to collaborate and support each other with the resources, expertise, and skills. All nations and organizations can and must take their responsibility to protect our global cyberspace. Between innovation, capacity building, awareness, and mobilization of funds to arm themselves against cyber crime and to strengthen the protection of their data, African companies and institutions must rethink their global strategies, supported by public authorities, which structure regional initiatives on background of increasing pressure. The consequences of cybercrime are enormous on personal, economic, and institutional level. Lives are devastated, economies strained, regimes destabilized, communities piled against each other. Your Excellencies, the recent attacks against the African Union Commission have made us aware of our vulnerability and the need to strengthen our technical, institutional, and human capacities to increase our level of resilience. We continue to suffer the consequences of these hostile acts. Directed against our Pan-African institution. To protect ourselves against new attacks of all kinds, we have undertaken, among other things, the construction of a data center to house and secure all our data, the strengthening of the capacities of technicians and engineers, the acquisition of equipment for protection and prevention against certain attempts in the cyberspace. Raising staff awareness for responsible use of tools is also an important factor that has been considered. Certain emerging technologies can also be an opportunity, such as artificial intelligence, to address the cybersecurity in our organizations. Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, such meetings are opportunities to call to collective mobilization. That is, governments, industrialists, research centers, civil society, all of us, we must come together in order to protect ourselves against the scourge, which unfortunately is constantly growing. We will continue to emphasize the strengthening of African capacities, increased cooperation between states, and the mobilization of African domestic resources to promote a digital and resilient Africa, capable of producing content and securing it, in line with the objectives of the Agenda 2063 of the Union, the Africa we want. The African Union Commission is open to any institutional arrangements to jointly address the challenges of today and tomorrow for the betterment of our people. I would like to finish by expressing our support of the outcomes of this conference, including the Accra Call that aim to promote free, open, and secure digital world. And I thank you all for your kind attention.
Thank you so much, Your Excellency, Dr. Monique Nzanza Baganwa of the AU and the Deputy Chairperson of the AU Commission. And of course, in line with that also, I find it the right time to mention that we're joined by the Chair of the African Union Cybersecurity Expert Group in the person of Mr. Abdul Hakim Adijola joining us here today. And I also want to say a very big welcome and thank you for being here, the Ghana Domain Name Registry's Mr. Nana Kofi Asafo Edu. Thank you so much, sir, for also joining us. And now, ladies and gentlemen, setting the tone for the words that will be shared on behalf of His Excellency the President, allow me to bring to you a short documentary.
Ghana's pre-independence history dates to the 9th century and is traced to one of the great kingdoms in the beloved Al Sudan region, with very peaceful and contented people who lived sustainably with nature under the leadership of chiefs and kings. When the Europeans first docked the shores of Ghana, they named it the Gold Coast. The country was abundantly rich in gold. The country's colonial narrative is traced to 1471, with trade and commerce as key features. On the 6th of March 1957, Ghana became the first West African country to gain independence under its first president, Osajifo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah.
At long last, the battle has ended. Ghana, your beloved country, is free forever.
On July 1st, 1960, Ghana became a republic and has since gone through different leadership and political administrations. the diversity in our enviable geography and climate presents diverse opportunities in various sectors. These have been the driving force in the country's economy since independence. In a rapidly evolving digitalized world, Ghana has ambitiously pursued this goal with a focus on modernizing and digitizing various sectors of the economy. In 2017, the government launched the Digital Ghana Agenda with the aim of leveraging technology to improve public service, promote e-commerce, and enhance digital inclusion. To safeguard the gains made, Ghana's 7th Parliament passed the country's landmark Cybersecurity Act 2020, Act 1038, to chart the course for the development of cybersecurity in Ghana.
Cybersecurity issues are therefore now firmly national security threats. Our country cannot fully reap the digital dividends associated with our adoption of ICT as a means of our socio-economic transformation if we fail to mitigate both existing and emerging cybersecurity threats.
The Ministry, in collaboration with UNICEF and other partners, will organize cybercrime and cybersecurity sensitization workshops across selected schools in all the 10 regions. A workshop on cybercrime, cybersecurity, and electronic evidence will also be organized in collaboration with the Council of Europe for selected members of Parliament and judges of the Supreme Court and the Court of Appeal.
In October 2021, the Cybersecurity Authority, CSA, was established to regulate cybersecurity activities, to promote the development of cybersecurity in the country, and to provide for related matters.
The President directed the Ministry of Communications to oversee Ghana's cybersecurity development, and that was an important direction from the Presidency regarding Ghana's cybersecurity activities. Secondly, the President also signed the African Union Convention on Cybersecurity and Personal Data Protection, and this happened in Addis Ababa during the Heads of Government meeting in Ethiopia. Third, the Ministry of Communications established the National Cybersecurity Secretariat within the ministry based on the directive from the President.
The Cybersecurity Authority, as a regulator of Ghana's cyberspace, has since March 1st, 2023, commenced the process of licensing cybersecurity service providers, CSPs, and accrediting cybersecurity establishments, CEs, and cybersecurity professionals, CSPs. The rationale for the licensing and accreditation exercise is to ensure compliance with Act 1038, as well as provide a streamlined mechanism for ensuring that cybersecurity service providers, cybersecurity establishments, and cybersecurity professionals in the country executed their duties in accordance with approved international best practice.
CSA is currently implementing several regulatory activities, including the licensing of cybersecurity service providers, accreditation of cybersecurity establishments, and also cybersecurity professionals. For the first time in the history of this country, we have records of the number of cybersecurity service providers, number of cybersecurity facilities, and cybersecurity professionals who are operating in the country through the licensing and accreditation process, which commenced 6 months ago. As at the end of September 2023, a total of 134 institutions have registered to apply for license as cybersecurity service providers.
Ghana's focus on cybersecurity has evolved over the years. ITU Global Cybersecurity Index rating is as follows. In 2017, Ghana scored 32.6% and ranked 10th in Africa and 87th globally. In 2020, Ghana scored 86.69%, ranked 3rd in Africa and 43rd globally. Ghana's cybersecurity readiness is rated 43rd globally and 3rd in Africa. This is the dawn of a new day. You are welcome to Ghana, to a people with rich culture tapestry, enduring spirit, and unwavering commitment to progress. We stand as a testament to the vibrant and diverse heritage of this remarkable continent, and our stories continue to inspire and captivate the world.
And so, ladies and gentlemen, with that said, please allow me first of all to mention that immediately after the words or the speech coming from, well, on behalf of His Excellency the President, the Accra Call will be signed here on the stage. Immediately after, I will ask some of our VIPs to join for a photo moment. May I kindly request that after the photo moment, we not leave this hall, this auditorium, because immediately after we move into the second plenary. So kindly just go over it again. The Honorable Senior Minister will speak on behalf of His Excellency the President, after which the Accra Call will be signed. Once the Accra Call is signed, I'll invite the VIPs onto the stage to take a few photos. Please remain seated. After that, His Excellency's representative will leave us, and then we move into the second plenary, kindly. Ladies and gentlemen, with a resounding round of applause, here to represent His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Ghana, please welcome the Honorable Senior Minister and Presidential Advisor, Mr. Yao Osafo-Maafo.
Good morning. I stand on the existing protocol established by the Minister for Communication and Digitalization to save time for all of us. His Excellency, the President, sent his apologies for his inability to be part of this important conference. He has to be away from the country for pre-arranged meetings. I would like to warmly welcome you all to Accra and wish you the best. The digitalization of economies, governments, and societies have been a transformative process that has led to numerous benefits which have in turn contributed significantly to our socio-economic development. Unfortunately, as technology advances, so do cyber threats, making it imperative for state and non-state actors to build the relevant skills, knowledge, and infrastructure needed to safeguard our digital assets, investments in information communication technologies, and other digitalization initiatives. This distinguished guest must be a collective concern of all. That is why I'm happy that the event has been organized to share ideas and build capacity towards a safe and resilient ecosystem globally. To this end, we must applaud the efforts of the Global Forum on Cyber Expertise, GFCE, the Cyber Peace Initiative, the World Bank, the World Economic Forum, and Ghana's Cyber Security Authority for putting together such a timely conference and for selecting Ghana as a suitable host for the maiden edition of the global conference. This was through a competitive bidding process among a myriad of possible hosts, leading to Ghana's selection on April 18, 2023, through an official request sent to the Minister for Communication and Digitalization. At cabinet level, you would always see Mrs. Ursula Owusu fighting for extra resources for cyber and digitalization. Madam, thank you very much for making us realize that cyber is important and we need to utilize. There is a joke that BBC stands for British Broadcasting Corporation, but a friend of mine, a banker, he gave BBC another interpretation. BBC, in his view, stands for Born Before Computer. He says, those of us who are BBC are having difficulty coping with the rest of the world. Now, digitalization is coming in, but it comes in the wake of other threats. And I think that looking at the capacities we have in this room today, if we take steps to network, we have enough knowledge to share to make it easy for other countries to progress very fast. We need not invent a wheel. Some of you are very experienced, some of you are very well exposed in things related to cyber. There are other new countries like Ghana coming. We need not do all the research you have done to be able to make use of what you know. We should network to make these available. Distinguished guests, we must acknowledge the pivotal role that cyber resilience and capacity building can play in advancing the United Nations 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. The agenda underscores our collective commitment to harnessing the power of digital technology to drive progress and development. The World Bank, for example, has been contributing to cybersecurity capacity building through the Global Cybersecurity Capacity Program. Between 2016 and 2019, the World Economic Forum, through the Global Cybersecurity Outlook, has been contributing to cybersecurity conversation by providing extensive research on how the world is responding to cyber threats and what leaders can do to secure their organizations and assets in the years to come. The Cyber Peace Institute has also been doing commendable work in protecting the most vulnerable people in cyberspace. Finally, the Global Forum on Cyber Expertise, GFCE, has been undertaking extensive work in cybersecurity capacity through initiatives like the Women in Cyber Fellowship. The African Cyber Experts Community, the GFCE Research Community, and work groups that focus on cybersecurity is also doing a lot of work to assist us overcome criminals associated with cyber attack. As a government, we are pleased with the noticeable success chalked by the Cybersecurity Authority, as well as other organizations and stakeholders in the cybersecurity ecosystem, which has led to this important gathering in our nation's capital, Accra. Due to increased internet penetration and access to ICT tools, cyber criminals are threatening our digital development with brazen boldness, and we cannot afford to be victims. And we can be victims if we do not work hard enough. They are there, they are criminals, and they will do whatever they can to cause us harm, and we should not allow it. Online attacks and cyber crimes intensely the tension between institutions and governments and weaken trust among individuals. The threat landscape has become increasingly volatile. Experienced cyber criminal groups continue to grow and create more sophisticated strategies with tools. The criminals want to be one step ahead, but we should not allow this. These challenges call for the need for governments, businesses, and stakeholders within the cyber ecosystem to collaborate and cooperate, integrating holistic strategies that will address these complex threats. And I said, we have the brain power, we have the expertise, we have the experience. What we need to do is to ensure effective networking so that people need not start all over to do what you have already passed. Ladies and gentlemen, regarding cyber capacity, the World Economic Forum's 2022 edition of the Global Risks Report indicates that there is an undersupply of cyber professionals, a gap of more than 3 million worldwide who can provide cyber leadership, test and secure systems, and offer training on digital hygiene. Building a robust cybersecurity infrastructure is heavily dependent on building a robust cyber architecture, and we can all agree that this consequentially leads to securing our development efforts. The World Economic Forum notes that these problems are compounded by scarcity of security experts, poor reporting habits, and lack of global agreements about how to regulate cyber threats. We must regulate this. How do we go about it? This is evident that we need to have a deeper understanding of how to implement the existing best cyber hygiene practices and cyber norms and engage in holistic conversation and debates on the issue. As a country, we are putting in place deliberate mechanisms to safeguard our digital infrastructure. This is evident by the passage of the Cybersecurity Act of 2020, Act 2010-38, with relevant provisions to regulate cybersecurity. As a groundbreaking regulatory activity, the Cybersecurity Authority has commenced the process of licensing, as it showed on the phone, the providers of the service and those who are in this area. We need to know who can assist, where are they located, and what is the nature of the practice they are putting up. We don't want a situation where they themselves turn out to be problematic. We must know who is doing what. I would like to take a minute to commend the visionary leadership of the Minister for Communication and Digitalization, Mrs. Ursula Owusu-Ekufo, as the first Director General of the Cybersecurity Authority, Dr. Albert Njubo-Siakon, for the exceptional work they've done in sanitizing our cybersecurity environment and for pushing Ghana into the technological space and making us use digitalization as a very important part of our economic development. In these times, we definitely have to digitalize to make services that we give to our citizenry quick and reliable. We recently decided to modernize the passport office. There's a long queue of people waiting for something which is a right. To have a passport as a Ghanaian is your right. And I noticed that it changed so many things. Before then, you get the form you must complete to get a passport. You go there and they will tell you the form is finished. Come next week, and you may go up and down for some time. Now it is done online. So it eliminated go and come. So the moment you digitalize, you use technology to even fight corruption. Because all the corruption associated with getting a passport is now gone because of digitalization. We've done the same thing for the driving license. To get a driving license in Ghana was a Herculean task. It is no more because of digitalization. Because now you are doing all the applications online. And I think we should move in that direction. The outcome of documents will call for the elevation of cyber resilience in international and national development agenda. I am reliably informed that this document will outline concrete actions that will strengthen the role of cyber resilience in enabling and accelerating sustainable development. These actions are expected to promote cyber capacity building that effectively serves the needs of developing countries as we embrace digital transformation as a cornerstone of economic development. There should be more talking between the developed countries and developing countries on cyber capacity building. We need it because we can then grow faster and develop faster than we are doing at the moment. As I said, we do have to invent a wheel. We've already done it, and we need to get access to it. Ladies and gentlemen, the call will further place emphasis on the need for strong partnership, demand-driven capacity building, and diversified financial resources to address the increasing threats posed by cybersecurity risks, with a goal to enhance coordination, promote collaboration, and mobilize resources to achieve comprehensive cyber capacity building, contributing to a safer and more resilient digital future for all. I hope that we all support the outcome document as a framework for addressing both national and international cyber capacity building challenges. I look forward to the outcome of the declaration that will emerge at the end of this two-day workshop, and I entreat you all to contribute positively to the document to ensure that it contributes positively to global cybersecurity efforts. I also hope that you will take the time to explore Ghana's tourist attractions and the hospitality and culture we offer you. Madam Chairperson, before I end my speech, I want to state emphatically that Ghana endorses the Accra Call for Cyber Resilience Development, an action framework. Thank you for your attention.
The Honourable Minister will now sign the Accra Call. May I ask the Honourable Minister for Communications and Digitalization to join Mrs. Ursula Ewusu Ekuful, also the Director General of the Cybersecurity Authority. Kindly support our Senior Minister and Presidential Advisor in this momentous occasion. So I believe that the Accra Call is ready for signing. The Honourable Senior Minister may take his seat in the middle. And the DG is handing the marker over to him. The Honourable is showing him where it shall be signed. I hope you're enjoying my commentary. Ladies and gentlemen, in 3, 2, 1, the Accra Call has been signed. In this moment, can I sincerely request Honourable Ministers, if you could kindly take center stage, and I would like to invite our partners to join in this moment to take a picture. Kindly remain center stage. Can I ask Mr. Chris Painter, Mr. Pierre Laporte representing World Bank, Mr. Akshay Joshi representing World Economic Forum, Madame Francesca Bosco, Cyber Peace Institute, please join us. Please also join us, Madam Alison Trappel, Mr. Matthew Wong, Ms. Manon Leblanc, Mr. Osmani, please join us for this moment. With the Accra Call, I'm also going to respectfully request our Osumanche to also join in this moment. Osumanche, with respect, kindly please join us. I'll ask my brother here who is supporting with protocol, Blagoji, if you can assist us with this very important photo. Please, CSA board, please join us. CSA board, please join us. Mr. Saki and Madam Adelaide also come and join us. Can I also have representatives of JCC? Representatives of JCC, please join us. Representatives of JCC, please join us. I'm also going to ask respectfully our friends, our partners from the diplomatic community, South African High Commission, Canadian High Commission, Swiss High Commissioner, please join us. German High Commissioner, please join us for this momentous photo with the Accra Call. Our friends, our partners, our allies. Cyber ambassadors, please join us for this photo. Cyber ambassadors, please join us for this photo. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, the rest, may I kindly ask that you remain seated as this photo around the Accra Call is being taken. Our cyber ambassadors, please join us. Cyber ambassadors, please join us. This is a momentous moment in Ghana's history, Accra's history. Please take your positions. In a few minutes, ladies and gentlemen, as this photo is being acknowledged, may I also acknowledge the heads of institutions. Gambian Minister, our Gambian Minister, please join us, Gambian Minister, and VIPs in the front seat, Liberia, Honorable Amapoma, please join us. Macedonia, kindly please join us. Macedonia, please join us. Thank you very much. Macedonia, please join us. Ethiopia, we have our representatives from Ethiopia here joining us, please. My team here is helping me mention all the important names, so if I haven't mentioned your name with respect, I ask you for forgiveness. VIPs, please join us. VIPs, MP Sam George, may I ask you to go in there? He is camera shy. Macedonia, Ethiopia, Gambia, Liberia. Please, VIPs, I may have overlooked you, forgive me, but please join in this photo, please. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to acknowledge that today we have been joined by the Minister for Communications and Digital Economy, Gambia, Mr. Osman Ba, Minister of Technology and Science, Zambia, the Felix Chipota Mutati, Minister for Communications, Liberia, Honorable Warlier Sawe Duna, Ambassador Embassy of Hungary in Accra, Honored Excellency Tamas Andre Feher, Federal Department of Foreign Affairs, Ambassador of Switzerland to Ghana. Of course, you know Mrs. Simone Giger, Ambassador of Turkey to Ghana, in the person of Mr. Hussein Gangor. Please, at this moment, a few photos are being taken. The Honorable Minister, Senior Minister representing the President of the Republic will now take leave of us. Please remain seated. Please remain seated. The Honorable Minister will take leave of us, but please remain seated. Please remain seated. Our Minister from Zambia, I would like to acknowledge you. Minister from Zambia, Minister of Technology and Science, Honorable Mutati, I would like to acknowledge you. Thank you very much for your presence here today. In a few minutes, we move into the second plenary. Please remain seated. We want to say a big thank you to our JCC, Joint Cybersecurity Committee. Thank you so much for joining us today. Mr. Peter Opata, Joint Intelligence Committee, you were here as well. Thank you. The ministry and agency heads, Mr. Alex Yao Affel, Chief Director, Minister of Communications and Digitalization, also joined us today. Thank you so much. In a few seconds, the Honorable Senior Minister will take leave of us. Kindly note that during our coffee break coming up shortly, we kindly ask you to take a look at our exhibition booth, and we also humbly ask you to do so during the lunch break. Ladies and gentlemen, if we can take our seats to proceed with the second part of our plenary, may I kindly request us to take our seats as we haven't yet concluded our ceremony this morning. May I kindly request for you to take your seats as we proceed with the program this morning. Thank you very much. May I kindly request that we take our seats for the second plenary. Second plenary is about to begin. A moment in time, pleasantries being exchanged as the exciting Accra Call has just been signed. Here in Accra, Ghana, and if you're capturing this moment, capture it on social media with the hashtag GC3B23. Ladies and gentlemen, we're now moving into our second plenary. Please take your seats. Second plenary, kindly, with respect, I ask you to please take your seats. Our second plenary is about to begin. Please kindly take your seats. Please allow me also to acknowledge the board chairman, Zambia Information and Communications Technology Authority. Mundia Muya is also here with us. I know that we can hear this loud and clear on our national television. We acknowledge the presence of Mundia Muya, Board Chairman, Zambia Information and Communications Technology Authority. Also, Director General of ZICTA, Chulwi A. Nalu Bamba, joining us here today in Accra as we beam live on GTV and Joy FM, as well as live on all social media platforms. May I kindly ask our VIPs to take their seats. Thank you. May I kindly request our VIPs to take their seats. Understandably, an exciting moment in Accra, an exciting moment in Ghana. We do have our second plenary. Our second plenary is starting now. May I kindly ask the Honorable Minister, Honorable Ministers, our wonderful VIPs to please take your seats for our second plenary. Kindly take your seats for our second plenary, starting now. Ladies and gentlemen, to bring the room to attention, may I have a resounding round of applause for the Accra Call. A little louder than that would be nice. All right, please take your seats. Without wasting more time, please allow me to bring to the podium for the series of statements by high levels and officials. Please allow me to say that each statement will be 3 minutes long. I say this respectfully. Please welcome from North Macedonia, Her Excellency Miss Slavica Grakowska, who is the Deputy Prime Minister on Good Governance.
Esteemed colleagues from the Government of Ghana, dear host of this event, GFC partners, dear experts and participants, it is a great pleasure to be here today at the plenary session of the Global Conference on Cybersecurity Capacity Building. As the Deputy President of the Government of North Macedonia, a country that became the 103rd member of the Global Forum on Cyber Expertise last year, I am honored to participate and represent my state in such a critical dialogue. Because these events are contributing to the shaping the future of cyber capacities and cybersecurity, which are decisive for the future of the world in general. The gaps and unequal development, both within a specific society and between different countries in the world, are a bitter reality, which we are trying to overcome through the realization of the global development goals and respective national development policies. And in all individual and collective efforts to reduce disparities in socio-economic development, it is extremely important to incorporate the cyber policies. Because, on one hand, digitization helps to accelerate development and make more significant steps towards improving services and standards for citizens in less developed countries. But on the other hand, the regression or stagnation in this field becomes an additional complicating and undermining factor for all other development policies. Our world is becoming increasingly digital, and new types of challenges are added to the existing ones. Many of these challenges, especially in terms of cybersecurity, are shared and require a shared response. No country can tackle these challenges alone. The global nature of cyberspace demands that we work together, exchange knowledge and best practices, develop a shared understanding on cybersecurity, and support each other along the way. Because no matter how developed each country is, we are all facing the same challenges and the same risks regarding cyberspace, and we should have the same way resolving them. That is why a coordinated approach is needed. That's why I'm pleased to see that this conference brings together a diverse group of participants from around the world to explore the cyber capacity building opportunities. This is an excellent occasion for us to share our experiences and identify ways to cooperate towards fulfilling our common goals. Having all this in mind, I expect that the messages that will emerge from this global conference will have a global impact in a way that will encourage broad action by all stakeholders in the direction of the effective inclusion of cyber capacity building in the development goals and agendas at the national and international level. What is particularly important to bear in mind is that this linking of policies must be appropriate to the needs of the citizens in developing countries as a precondition to achieve the desired effect on the development and growth. From the point of view of a government representative, I will emphasize that the key is building a broad, not only political, but social consensus at the national level for the need of a great investments in appropriate technical capacities and infrastructure for training human resources with the necessary knowledge and qualifications, for improving the overall level of digital skills, and for increasing the awareness on cybersecurity issues. Because we ourselves know best our own priorities and weaknesses. In North Macedonia, we did this through the preparation of a concept of digital transformation of society, from which all concrete policies now derive and for which I insisted to be linked to the embedding of good governance policy in the system. And this is essential so that we can have a comprehensive approach that contributes to the development of the country. And, but not less important, if needs and prioritized or are well conceptualized, it will lead to appropriate coordination of donor aid and its use in the most efficient possible way. And only in this way we can contribute to the global cyber-resilient development. I believe that our international partnership must not be reduced only by financial support provided by developed to less developed countries. It is crucial that we all actively engage in these processes by lending our expertise and experiences to help others enhance the cyber security capacities, and at the same time to stand ready to learn from others and collaborate on joint projects and initiatives. And global GFC is actually a perfect opportunity for that. I would like to wish you all a successful and productive conference, which will provide a global guidance to strengthening cybersecurity and building resilience in confronting the numerous cyber challenges ahead of us. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And now, ladies and gentlemen, the Minister of Telecommunications and ICT from Cook Islands, His Excellency Mr. Tinjika Elikana, who is also Associate Minister responsible for Justice, Finance, Economic Management, Foreign Affairs and Immigration. Please welcome His Excellency Mr. Tinjika Elikana.
Thank you very much, Master of Ceremonies, for the opportunity, the warm welcome to address this very important forum. Excellencies, distinguished delegates, and VIPs attending this conference, all protocols observed. Kia orana and warm greetings from the Cook Islands. It is indeed a pleasure and an honor to be part of the inaugural Global Conference on Cyber Capacity Building here in beautiful Ghana. I am encouraged that the chosen theme for the conference is Cyber Resilience for Development, because it is fitting to our situation and reflects our understanding and collective views towards aligning our national and regional cyber strategic priorities with international development agendas, continuous collaboration and coordination with multi-stakeholders, and dedication to building capacity across all sectors in our joint effort to strengthen stability and security that will promote trust and sustain social development and economic growth. Earlier this month, the Pacific Islands Forum leaders held its annual meeting in my country, the Cook Islands, where heads of state, government and territories from the Pacific discuss issues of importance to the Pacific region. In supporting the Prime Minister of the Cook Islands, who was the chair of the Pacific Islands Forum Leaders Meeting, I recognize and appreciate that dialogues in the pavilion event, Pacific Partners for Prosperity, discussed extensively and promoted the thematic topics of cybersecurity, technology, and connectivity for the Pacific region. The events and discussions in these areas align well with the Pacific region's 2050 Blue Strategy Implementation Plan from 2023 to 2030, a document that was tabled at the Forum Leaders Meeting, and it articulates, among other cross-cutting regions, the region's collective objectives towards cybersecurity. The outcome of the Pacific Leaders Meeting was a comprehensive Pacific Island Forum Leaders Communique 2023. In essence, the communique referenced the Langatui Declaration, an outcome document from the Pacific ICT Ministerial Meeting held in Papua New Guinea in August of this year, where ICT ministers discussed significant regional ICT matters and underscored the need to be united in our shared aspiration for a well-connected, prosperous, and secure region. Distinguished colleagues, this higher-level discussion and specific focus on cybersecurity confirms our commitment at the national and regional level to improving and strengthening our cyber resilience. However, I acknowledge that we need to establish or reinforce shared commitments, coordinations, and collaborations through international partnership, enduring partners to further strengthen our resilience at the global level. I am confident that we can achieve a lot from 2 days of dialogue and networking during this GC3B conference here in Accra. Finally, I would like to thank the Global Coordination for Cyber Capacity Building for organizing this event to allow all stakeholders, decision makers, digital industry, civil society, and all sectors to be in the same place to discuss how we can better address cybersecurity through the Accra Call as an action framework to guide our efforts. To conclude, please allow me to register on behalf of the Cook Islands our full support and endorsement of the Accra Call, and I look forward to a productive 2 days of deliberations with you all. Atawai Wolo, thank you.
Thank you so much, Your Excellency. And now, the Ambassador at Large of Cyberspace and Digital Policy, United States of America, Mr. Nathaniel Fig.
Good afternoon. I think it is afternoon by just a couple of minutes. I bring greetings from President Biden and Secretary Blinken and gratitude to our Ghanaian hosts and the organizers of the conference. The U.S. vision for technology is affirmative. We view tech, including emerging tools like AI, as absolutely essential to meeting the Sustainable Development Goals and also to economic prosperity and human flourishing in the 21st century. Cyber threats, including disruptive attacks carried out by both criminals and nation states, undermine that vision. They impose costs directly on our citizens and also harder to measure costs that we all bear when governments, critical infrastructure entities, and citizens lose trust in groundbreaking technologies and, maybe more importantly, in each other, simply because a few bad actors choose to misuse these tools. Cyber capacity building is an essential response to this threat. And that's why the State Department has spent more than $300 million on cyber capacity building over the past decade, more than half of it in only the last 2 years. But we as a community have to do more. And that's the first reason why the U.S. is supportive of the GC3B and why I'm glad to be here. One of the stated aims of this conference is to unlock more resources for cyber capacity building. And the way to do that is to mainstream cyber capacity building within international development. If there's one takeaway line from my brief time at the podium, that's it. We need to mainstream cyber capacity building within international development. And that's why the U.S. supports the Accra Call's practical recommendations for making progress on this issue. I'm also excited about our efforts here because this is a tremendous opportunity for us to coordinate. The cyber capacity building space is becoming increasingly crowded. And that's great news because it means our work is now more inclusive than it's ever been. But it also emphasizes the need for a well-coordinated donor and implementation community. And that highlights the value of gatherings like this one and of organizations like the Global Forum for Cyber Expertise. Lastly, our delegation's excited to be here just to listen. So many of you gathered here from across Africa and around the world have perspectives to offer on how to improve our collective cyber capacity building effort. Hard-earned perspectives, born of personal experience. And the U.S. wants to know what your communities care about and how we might partner further together to advance our shared goals. So thank you for your commitment to the essential work. I look forward to the next 2 days.
Thank you very much, Mr. Nathaniel Fick. And now, ladies and gentlemen, joining us is the Parliamentary Secretary to the Minister of Foreign Affairs of Canada, His Excellency Mr. Rob Oliphant, joining us by video.
Hello to all who have gathered in Accra for the Global Conference on Cyber Capacity Building. I want to thank the organizers, the Global Forum on Cyber Expertise, the Cyber Peace Institute, the World Bank and the World Economic Forum, and especially the Government of Ghana for hosting this conference, as well as all of you who are participating in this important event. Canada is a strong supporter of this conference. Building our collective cyber capacity is key to ensuring a free, open, and secure digital world where everyone benefits. The link between cyber resilience and sustainable economic development is increasingly clear. Greater cyber capacity can help us achieve the 2030 Sustainable Development Goals. It can help us increase security and prosperity and consolidate development gains. Canada also believes states must behave responsibly in cyberspace. International law gives us a roadmap, but to achieve responsible behavior, states must work together to build the capacity to uphold those rules and to implement norms. To that end, Canada has committed more than $30 million to cyber capacity building projects since 2015 and to ensure an open and secure internet. Canada also supports the creation of a program of action to advance responsible state behavior in the use of ICTs in the context of international security. This international platform will be key to implementing a framework for responsible behavior in cyberspace. It will allow us to focus our efforts and tackle urgent concerns. Let me also express Canada's strong support for gender equality in this field. We proudly support the Women in Cyber Fellowship Program, and we're looking forward to building upon it in the upcoming UN cyber process. En conclusion, le Canada est heureux d'approuver la déclaration d'Accra sur le développement cyber-résilient. Nous sommes déterminés à collaborer pour atteindre cet objectif. Je vous souhaite à toutes et à tous une conférence productive. Merci de votre attention.
Merci beaucoup. And now, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the head of Resilience at FCDO, Miss Amy Clark from the United Kingdom.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for the opportunity to be here in Ghana with you all, and congratulations to GFC for putting on this successful event. I have a few minutes now to share with you a sense of the UK view of cyber capacity building, and also to deliver some exciting news about our future activities here in Africa. The UK has been involved in cyber capacity building for around 10 years now. We provide funding to academic, private sector and non-profit organisations to deliver effective cyber capacity building. It's very important to us that we work together to co-design our activities and put an emphasis on public-private partnerships. It is only by working together that we can prioritise our activities. We want to drive up standards and use data and evidence to guide our work so that we are continuously learning and ensuring that every intervention we make has as much impact as possible. We have listened to our partners and have heard the requests to build real expertise at the heart of our nation's cyber capacity building. We have heard that it is through CSIRTs that we can influence the daily practice of cybersecurity, and that it is also through CSIRTs that experts can share best practice throughout their governments and organisations. That is why I am delighted to announce we have co-designed with the non-profit organisation FIRST to deliver a dedicated CSIRT liaison officer in Africa. They will help support CSIRTs drive up standards and deliver mutual support. And I'm pleased to say that Chris from FIRST is here with us today and will be speaking tomorrow. Ladies and gentlemen, this is just the start of this partnership. We're here to listen, and we're here to build bridges between cybersecurity and economic development. Also, next year we will be investing in a new long-term Africa programme. That will also focus on building capability of CSIRTs, protecting critical national infrastructure, and combating cybercrime. Our programmes will complement work of the GFCE and Commonwealth and key non-profit organisations to continue to build effective cyber capacity building. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Ms. Clark. Now please make welcome Mr. Ernst Newman, who is the Dutch Ambassador of Cyber Affairs. Mr. Ernst Norman.
Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, first of all, it's really great to be back in Ghana. It has been almost 10 years that I was in this beautiful country, and it won't last another 10 years before I'll be back again. I stand here on behalf of the Minister of Foreign Affairs of the Netherlands, Her Excellency Hanke Bruins-Slot, who really regrets not being able to partake in this conference. We are here today and tomorrow to learn and exchange and see how we, as an international community, can improve our collaboration in building cyber capacity together with our regional partners. The Netherlands is a strong supporter of the theme of this conference, cyber resilience in development. We have supported, both as a major donor and as a closely involved member, the Global Forum on Cyber Expertise at the outset. In fact, we are one of the founding members. They have played an indispensable role in making this conference possible. Together with the World Bank, the Cyber Institute, the World Economic Forum, and our Ghanaian hosts, we are putting cyber capacity building high on the international agenda. The Netherlands endorses the Accra Call. And my Minister of Foreign Affairs, Hanke Bruinslot, has personally signed the call to action. This is important because we have a shared responsibility to ensure that the digital transition taking place in the world benefits every individual, regardless of gender, age, level of education, or whether you live in the city or in a rural area. To support this effort, we witness an increase in digital for development projects around the world to close the digital divides. This conference, however, is not about connecting the 2.6 billion people that remain offline today. It's both about the people who are connected and who will be connected in the years to come. We all see huge benefits of digital technologies in support of development. It enables deployment of digital services such as online banking, allows people to enjoy education from anywhere in the world about any topic, and it provides opportunities for youth employment in digital sectors. If we want to ensure that no one is left behind in reaping the benefits of a digitized society, we need to invest in cybersecurity at the same time. Failing to do so could increase the vulnerabilities for states, the private sector, civil society organizations, and individuals, in particular, those who are already in vulnerable situations, like women and girls. Cyber capacity building has many aspects that are intrinsically linked to the digital development agenda. Moreover, it is a condition for a society that's digitizing to achieve the Sustainable Development Goals. It's about ensuring access to an open, free, inclusive, and secure global internet for all. It's about embedding our shared human-centric values in the development and use of digital technologies. Fundamental rights need to be protected, and users should be able to trust digital services and devices. It's about promoting equal and affordable access to digital and cybersecurity skills for all, across sectors. And it's about being able to safeguard the international legal order and protect human rights, both offline as online. This requires a different approach. What we have learned in the Netherlands, while developing and implementing our own national cybersecurity policy, is that cyber is a team sport. In our interconnected world, governments need to work together and build trusted relationships with private companies and civil society for an effective response to cyber threats. We all have different information positions, and only together we can paint a full picture in order to prepare and respond. We have different tasks in contributing to the cybersecurity of a nation. We need to take up this shared responsibility in developing and implementing cybersecurity policies through a multi-stakeholder approach. We all have unique digital ecosystems and experiences in building cyber resilience, but we're all connected together. I look forward to the many things we can learn from each other at this conference. I'm confident that this conference will further a more coordinated and collaborative approach to ensure we address the new digital threats together, to ensure we leave no one behind in a digitized society. Thank you very much.
Thank you to Mr. Ernst Norman. Now, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Director of Programs and Impact, ACBF, Mr. Mbake Nyang. Please welcome him.
Good afternoon, distinguished delegates, esteemed guests, ladies and gentlemen. It's an honor for me to address you today at this global conference on cyber capacity building, focus on the theme Cyber Resilience for Development, on behalf of the Secretary General of the African Capacity Building Foundation, Mamadou Bité, who sent his apologies due to conflicting assignment. The potential in the digital space is vast, and with the right knowledge, skills, and infrastructure, we can harness it for the benefit of our society, economies, and well-being of our people. At ACBF, we recognize the paramount importance of cyber resilience in the context of development. Our strategic plan prioritizes digitization as a cross-cutting theme, given its ability to disrupt and transform economies and society. It drives entrepreneurial innovation, productivity, and economic growth. It also has implications for the labor market and political participation. The continent's digital transformation is accelerating, bolstered by the increasing access to broadband connectivity. Governments, public institutions, private sector, and development organizations are increasingly using digital tools and platforms to improve lives and fuel economic growth across the continent. In an increasingly interconnected and digitized world, the potential for cyber threat and vulnerability has grown exponentially. These threats pose significant risk to the economy, institutions, and society at large. It is therefore imperative that we enhance our cyber capacity building efforts to navigate the intricate challenges posed by the digital realm and ensure sustainable development. Ladies and gentlemen, as we convene in this gathering, we have great expectations from the conference. First and foremost, we anticipate a rich exchange of knowledge, experience, and best practices. This platform offers an invaluable opportunity to learn from each other, to understand the challenges faced by different regions, and identify together innovative solutions that can be adapted and implemented across borders. Furthermore, we look forward to the conference yielding tangible outcomes. We must harness the collective wisdom and expertise assembled here to develop practical strategies and action for strengthening cyber resilience. These outcomes should encompass comprehensive approaches that address technical, legal, policy, and capacity building dimension. In our pursuit of cyber resilience for development, we must strive for inclusive and sustainable solutions. The digital divide, particularly in Africa, has widened the gap in cyber capacity between developed and developing countries. Bridging this divide is not only a matter of equitable access, but also a prerequisite for effective cyber resilience on overall development. We call upon global community to prioritize capacity building initiatives that empower all countries, regardless of their level of development, to build robust cyber ecosystems. Ladies and gentlemen, looking ahead, the ACBF believes that gathered communities should strive for several future endeavors. Firstly, We must emphasize the importance of continuous learning and adaptation in the face of evolving cyber threats. The landscape of cyber risk is ever-changing, and our response must be agile and proactive. Building a culture of awareness, promoting research and development, and investing in cutting-edge technology should be at the forefront of our effort. Secondly, we should foster strong partnerships and collaboration among governments, institutional organizations, international organizations, civil society, academia, private sector. No single entity can address the complexity of the challenge on cyber resilience alone. By leveraging our collective expertise and resources of all stakeholders, we can forge comprehensive and effective solutions. Finally, ACBF is happy to partner with all stakeholders through its services offering, namely the institutional accelerator model, our institutional strengthening capacity building academy for human capital development and knowledge, and also our knowledge hub service offering. In conclusion, ladies and gentlemen, the Global Conference on Cyber Capacity Building presents a unique opportunity to advance our understanding, collaboration, and action point in pursuit of cyber resilience for development. In an era defined by rapid evolution of technology, the importance of enhancing cyber capacity cannot be overstated. Africa stands at the crossroads of digital revolution, and the decision we make today will shape the digital landscape for generations to come. Let us leverage this platform to generate innovative ideas, forge partnership, and commit to concrete action that will safeguard our digital ecosystem and enable sustainable development for all. I thank you very much, and I wish you fruitful deliberation. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mbake Nyang. And just before I introduce our next speaker, who is joining us via video, allow me to acknowledge the presence of the Chief Director of Ministry of Communications and Digitalization, Mr. Alexander Yao Afo. Please acknowledge him. Thank you so much. Very soon, we'll be also calling on our GC3B Steering Committee members to be acknowledged, so please get ready. But for now, please look at the screens for our message from the State Secretary of the Ministry of Foreign and European Affairs, Slovenia, Mr. Marko.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor to address you at the first global conference on cyber capacity building in Ghana. In our interconnected world, the growth of digital technologies brings both unprecedented opportunities and daunting challenges. Cyber capacity building, together with cyber resilience, are the cornerstone of our defense against the surge in cyber threats. These transcend borders, and the regional approach to cyber capacity building is not merely advantageous but essential. By fostering collaboration and sharing best practices at the regional level, we enhance our collective ability to respond effectively to cyber challenges. Slovenia joined forces, together with France and Montenegro, to establish Regional Western Balkans Cyber Capacity Center in Podgorica, Montenegro. This center is a powerful tool for improving the cyber resilience of the Western Balkans region through training and creation of a regional platform for sharing information and best practices to improve cybersecurity. Once transformed into an international organization, this center will play an important role as a regional hub for cybersecurity, and you will hear more about its practices during one of the panels at the conference. We therefore strongly support the Accra Call because it points out a gap between the strong demands for cyber capacity building and the current supply and identifies persisting digital divides, skill inequalities, and limited access to cybersecurity resources, particularly in developing countries. We endorse the call for greater integration of cyber capacity building with traditional development programs, as it emphasizes the need to incorporate cyber resilience into national and international development investments to ensure the sustainability of development results in the face of growing cyber threats. Dear colleagues, together, let's forge a future where global cooperation safeguards our digital landscape. I wish you all a very successful conference. Thank you.
Thank you too. And now, ladies and gentlemen, a word from Her Excellency Ambassador Simone Giger from Switzerland. Please welcome her.
Honorable Minister, Excellencies, distinguished experts. Switzerland congratulates the government of Ghana for hosting the inaugural Global Conference on Cyber Capacity Building GC3B. The topic of the conference, Cyber Resilience for Development, is an important and very timely one. Switzerland is convinced that strengthening cyber resilience is a key factor in reaping the full potential of digital technologies for sustainable development, which requires more political and financial attention. We would like to congratulate the organizing team of this conference for their great efforts in bringing the vision of the GC3B to life. We thank the government of Ghana for presenting the Accra Call for Cyber Resilient Development. Switzerland fully endorses this call. We believe that it is an excellent roadmap to inspire and support concrete efforts to promote cyber resilience across development agendas. It will be an essential tool to maintain the momentum built by this first GC3B. Switzerland is proud to be a supporter of the GC3B as a member of its steering committee. This conference is the starting point of an important process guided by the Accra Call. Switzerland stands ready to contribute to its realization and to support this process. And in this context, it's actually my great pleasure to announce that Switzerland will welcome the second iteration of the GC3B in Geneva in May 2025. We are very pleased to pick up the baton from Ghana after a successful closure of this inaugural conference and are looking forward to a close collaboration with all the partners gathered here today. So with that, I wish us all a successful GC3B, and we are looking forward to seeing all of you in Geneva in May 2025. Thank you.